For those of you first home buyers that are trying to apply for a 95% loan with mortgage insurance or without mortgage insurance, for example, you're applying for the first home guarantee scheme, which is 95% no mortgage insurance, you got to make sure your 5% satisfies the genuine savings rule, because otherwise you're going to get a bit of social anxiety when you're applying for your home loan. Now let's hit the drawing board. What is genuine savings? So genuine savings, also called Gen Savings, is when you have 5% of the purchase price in your bank account for a minimum of 3 months. So hypothetically, if you're trying to buy a property for $750,000, 5% is around $37,500. So the $37,500 will be ideally sitting in your bank account for a minimum of 3 months. Now, a lot of banks that participate in the first home guarantee scheme, for example, the two major lenders here and all the non-major players over here, they'll go through with their analytical glasses and look at your bank statements that you supply them to show in those 3 months that 5% fund has been sitting there without being withdrawn, used, or anything that is deducted. Now, the ideal scenario is basically this fund of the 5% is sitting in a bank account, a high interest savings bank account, good on you, kudos, good job. But then in the past 6 months, I've been going through a lot of clients that go through TikTok and then contact me and go, hey, I want to get the 95% no LMI. The things I see in their savings to show the 5% deposit differs from the ideal. One scenario is that I have a client to show the 5% genuine savings is that 70% of that 5% of the funds, which is, for example, the $37,500, they're split into 5 share trading accounts. And then the rest of the 30% is sitting in other 20 bloody bank accounts because they read the Barefoot Investor bloody book. Then I have another client that has about 80% of their savings in crypto. Then I have another client that has a genuine savings in their sisters and brothers bank account. So right now I'm going to give you 2 tables. One is for first home guarantee scheme genuine savings, what banks will accept. And another table is you're not applying for the first home guarantee scheme and you're just applying for 95% including mortgage insurance, and what would banks accept in terms of genuine savings. So for the first home guarantee scheme genuine savings, accept is share accounts, fine. Regardless of how many share accounts you have, they're fine. But the share accounts need to be active for more than 3 months. For saving accounts, obviously minimum 3 months, but it has to be in your bloody name. Otherwise, you go get the brother or the sister, or the mother to transfer back the money back into your savings account in your name, and you got to wait 3 months. Things that won't accept and things that will troll through and crawl through your bank accounts, if you do any massive withdrawals and then you put it back into the savings account, it resets it for another 3 months. Now, for certain banks, when you're applying for, just the normal 95% plus LMI, not the first home guarantee scheme, the banks can take rental ledger, which means you've been paying rent to your landlord through an agent for a minimum period of 12 months, and you can show that rental ledger. That can count as genuine savings. But it's very discretionary whether, when you're applying for first home guarantee scheme, they will allow you to use that. And another big no-no for not accepting for genuine savings is gift. So for example, you've been saving for 3 months, but you don't have that 5% portion of what you want to buy. And then mum and dad gives you like a $10,000 input. That is seen as gift and non-genuine savings. That gift needs to stay into the savings account for a minimum of 3 months to be counted. Now, for deals that are 95% plus LMI and you're not applying for the first home guarantee scheme, and the reason being is maybe you're not a first home buyer, but you're still buying as an owner occupier, or you just don't meet the eligibility criteria of earning 125K as an individual or combined individual of 200K. Maybe you exceeded that. This can be both via the agent, but then you say, hey, what about I do private rent? That's fine. Supply 6 months to 12 months of bank statement showing you have transferred that money to your private landlord. But then you guys say, hey Q, what about I pay rent in cash? Then I'm sorry, that does not count. But do not despair if you don't have genuine savings. There are other banks, which are non-banks, but not first home guarantee banks, that would apply if you have 5% non-gen savings. For example, you have a gift or a sudden inheritance. There are non-banks that will take it, but obviously the interest rate is at a premium rate, but it is not the end of the road. So this video is for a lot of you first home buyers that are thinking of using the first home guarantee scheme. It's time to sit down and think about where is that 5% savings coming from. And if it's not, maybe it's to do some homework right now and really put that money into that bank account. let it sit there for 3 months, and then you can start applying. So guys, jump in the comments. Is this video useful to you? Either roast me or toast me. Love to read your comments.